English Synonyms and Antonyms by James Champlin Fernald. Abandon to abridgment. Abandon. Synonyms: abdicate, abjure, cast off, cease, cede, depart from, desert, discontinue, forego, forsake, forswear, give up, leave, quit, recant, relinquish, renounce, repudiate, resign, retire from, retract, surrender, vacate, withdraw from. Abandon is a word of wide signification, applying to persons or things of any kind. Abdicate and resign apply to office, authority, or power. Cede to territorial possessions. Surrender especially to military force, and more generally to any demand, claim, passion, etc. Quit carries an idea of suddenness or abruptness, not necessarily implied in abandon, and may not have the same suggestion of finality. The king abdicates his throne, cedes his territory, deserts his followers, renounces his religion, relinquishes his titles, abandons his designs. A cowardly officer deserts his ship. The helpless passengers abandon it. We quit business, give up property, resign office, abandon a habit or a trust. Relinquish commonly implies reluctance. The fainting hand relinquishes its grasp. The creditor relinquishes his claim. Abandon implies previous association with responsibility for or control of. Forsake implies previous association with inclination or attachment, real or assumed. A man may abandon or forsake house or friends. He abandons an enterprise, forsakes God. Abandon is applied to both good and evil action. A thief abandons his designs, a man his principles. Forsake, like abandon, may be used either in the favorable or unfavorable sense. Desert is always unfavorable, involving a breach of duty, except when used of mere localities, as the deserted village. While a monarch abdicates, a president or other elected or appointed officer resigns. It was held that James II abdicated his throne by deserting it. Antonyms: adopt, advocate, assert, cherish, claim, court, defend, favor, haunt, hold, keep, maintain, occupy, prosecute, protect, pursue, retain, seek, support, undertake, uphold, vindicate. Abase. Synonyms: bring low, cast down, debase, degrade, depress, discredit, disgrace, dishonor, humble, humiliate, lower, reduce, sink. Abase refers only to outward conditions. Quote, exalt him that is low, and debase him that is high. Ezekiel 21:26. Close quote. Debase applies to the quality or character. The coinage is debased by excess of alloy, the man by vice. Humble, in present use, refers chiefly to feeling of heart. Humiliate to outward conditions. Even when one is said to be humble himself, he either has or affects to have humility of heart. To disgrace may be to bring or inflict odium upon others, but the word is chiefly and increasingly applied to such moral odium as one by his own acts brings upon himself. The noun disgrace retains more of the passive sense than the verb. He disgraced himself by his conduct. He brought disgrace upon his family. To dishonor a person is to deprive him of honor that should or might be given. To discredit one is to injure his reputation, as for veracity or solvency. A sense of unworthiness humbles. A shameful insult humiliates. Imprisonment for crime disgraces. Degrade may refer to either station or character. An officer is degraded by being reduced to the ranks, disgraced by cowardice. Vile practices degrade. Drunkenness is a degrading vice. Misfortune or injustice may abase the good. Nothing but their own ill-doing can debase or disgrace them. Antonyms: advance, aggrandize, dignify, elevate, exalt, honor, promote, raise, uplift. Abash. Synonyms: bewilder, chagrin, confound, confuse, daunt, discompose, disconcert, dishearten, embarrass, humble, humiliate, mortify, overawe, shame. Any sense of inferiority abashes, with or without the sense of wrong. The poor are abashed at the splendor of wealth, the ignorant at the learning of the wise. "I might have been abashed by their authority." Gladstone, Homeric Synchron, page 72. Harper and Brothers, 76. To confuse is to bring into a state of mental bewilderment. To confound is to overwhelm the mental faculties. To daunt is to subject to a certain degree of fear. Embarrass is a strong word, signifying primarily hamper, hinder, impede. A solitary thinker may be confused by some difficulty in a subject or some mental defect. One is embarrassed in the presence of others, and because of their presence. Confusion is of the intellect, embarrassment of the feelings. A witness may be embarrassed by annoying personalities, so as to become confused in statements. To mortify a person is to bring upon him a painful sense of humiliation, whether because of his own or another's fault or failure. A pupil is confused by a perplexing question, a general confounded by overwhelming defeat. A hostess is discomposed by the tardiness of guests, a speaker disconcerted by a failure of memory. The criminal who is not abashed at detection may be daunted by the officer's weapon. Sudden joy may bewilder, but will not abash. The true worshipper is humbled rather than abashed before God. The parent is mortified by the child's rudeness, the child abashed at the parent's reproof. The embarrassed speaker finds it difficult to proceed. The mob is overawed by the military, the hypocrite shamed by exposure. "A man whom no denial, no scorn could abash." Fielding, Amelia, Book 3, Chapter 9, page 300, Bell and Sons, 71. Compare chagrin and hinder. Antonyms: animate, buoy, cheer, embolden, encourage, inspirit, rally, uphold. Abate. Synonyms: decline, decrease, diminish, ebb, lessen, lower, mitigate, moderate, reduce, subside. The storm, the fever, the pain abates. Interest declines. Misfortunes may be mitigated. Desires moderated. Intense anger abated. Population decreased. Taxes reduced. We abate a nuisance, terminate a controversy, suppress a rebellion. See alleviate. Antonyms: aggravate, amplify, continue, develop, enhance, enlarge, extend, foment, increase, magnify, rage, raise, revive. Prepositions: abate in fury, abated by law. Abbreviation. Synonyms: abridgment, contraction. An abbreviation is a shortening by any method. A contraction is a reduction of size by drawing together of the parts. A contraction of a word is made by omitting certain letters or syllables and bringing together the first and last letters or elements. An abbreviation may be made either by omitting certain portions from the interior or by cutting off a part. A contraction is an abbreviation, but an abbreviation is not necessarily a contraction. REC apostrophe T for receipt, MDSE period for merchandise, and DR period for debtor are contractions. They are also abbreviations. AM period for American is an abbreviation, but not a contraction. Abbreviation and contraction are used of words and phrases, abridgment of books, paragraphs, sentences, etc. Compare abridgment. Abet. Synonyms: advocate, aid, assist, countenance, embolden, encourage, incite, instigate, promote, sanction, support, uphold. Abet and instigate are now used almost without exception in a bad sense. One may incite either to good or evil. One incites or instigates to the doing of something not yet done, or to increased activity or further advance in the doing of it. One abets by giving sympathy, countenance, or substantial aid to the doing of that which is already projected or in process of commission. Abet and instigate apply either to persons or actions. Incite to persons only. One incites a person to an action. A clergyman will advocate the claims of justice, aid the poor, encourage the despondent, support the weak, uphold the constituted authorities, but he will not incite to a quarrel, instigate a riot, or abet a crime. The originator of a crime often instigates or incites others to abet him in it, or one may instigate or incite others to a crime in the commission of which he himself takes no active part. Compare HELP. Antonyms: baffle, confound, counteract, denounce, deter, disapprove, disconcert, discourage, dissuade, expose, frustrate, hinder, impede, obstruct. Abhor. Synonyms: abominate, despise, detest, dislike, hate, loathe, nauseate, scorn, shun. Abhor is stronger than despise, implying a shuddering recoil, especially a moral recoil. Quote, "How many shun evil as inconvenient who do not abhor it as hateful." Close quote. Trench, Sermon in Westminster Abbey, 26 297, Murray's New English Dictionary. Detest expresses indignation, with something of contempt. Loathe implies disgust, physical or moral. We abhor a traitor, despise a coward, detest a liar. We dislike an uncivil person. We abhor cruelty, hate tyranny. We loathe a reptile or a flatterer. We abhor Milton's heroic Satan, but we cannot despise him. Antonyms: admire, approve, covet, crave, desire, enjoy, esteem, like, love, relish. Abide. Synonyms: anticipate, await, bear, bide, confront, continue, dwell, endure, expect, inhabit, live, lodge, remain, reside, rest, sojourn, stay, stop, tarry, tolerate, wait, watch. To abide is to remain continuously within limit of time unless expressed by the context. Quote, "Today I must abide at thy house." Close quote. Luke 19:5. Quote, "A settled place for thee to abide in forever." Close quote. 1 Kings 8:13. Quote, "Abide with me. Fast falls the eventide." Close quote. Light hymnal. Lodge, sojourn, stay, tarry, and wait always imply a limited time. Lodge, to pass the night. Sojourn, to remain temporarily. Live, dwell, reside, to have a permanent home. Stop, in the sense of stay or sojourn, is colloquial and not in approved use. Compare endure, rest. Antonyms: abandon, avoid, depart, forfeit, forfend, journey, migrate, move, proceed, reject, resist, shun. Prepositions: abide in a place, for a time, with a person, by a statement. Abolish. Synonyms: abate, abrogate, annihilate, annul, destroy, end, eradicate, exterminate, extirpate, nullify, obliterate, overthrow, prohibit, remove, repeal, reverse, revoke, set aside, stamp out, subvert, supplant, suppress, terminate. Abolish, to do away with, bring absolutely to an end, especially as something hostile, hindering, or harmful was formerly used of persons and material objects, a usage now obsolete except in poetry or highly figurative speech. Abolish is now used of institutions, customs, and conditions, especially those widespread and long existing, as to abolish slavery, ignorance, intemperance, poverty. A building that is burned to the ground is said to be destroyed by fire. Annihilate, as a philosophical term, signifies to put absolutely out of existence. As far as our knowledge goes, matter is never annihilated, but only changes its form. Some believe that the wicked will be annihilated. Abolish is not said of laws. There we use repeal, abrogate, nullify, etc. Repeal by the enacting body, nullify by revolutionary proceedings. A later statute abrogates, without formally repealing, any earlier law with which it conflicts. An appellate court may reverse or set aside the decision of an inferior court. Overthrow may be used in either a good or a bad sense. Suppress is commonly in a good, subvert always in a bad sense, as to subvert our liberties, to suppress a rebellion. The law prohibits what may never have existed. It abolishes an existing evil. We abate a nuisance, terminate a controversy. Compare cancel, demolish, exterminate. Antonyms: authorize, cherish, confirm, continue, enact, establish, institute, introduce, legalize, promote, reinstate, renew, repair, restore, revive, set up, support, sustain. Abomination. Synonyms: abhorrence, abuse, annoyance, aversion, crime, curse, detestation, disgust, evil, execration, hatred, horror, iniquity, nuisance, offense, plague, shame, villainy, wickedness. Abomination, from the Latin ab omen, a thing of ill omen, was originally applied to anything held in religious or ceremonial aversion or abhorrence, as, "the things which are highly esteemed among men are abomination in the sight of God." Luke 16:15. The word is oftener applied to the object of such aversion or abhorrence than to the state of mind that so regards it. In common use, abomination signifies something very much disliked or loathed, or that deserves to be. Choice food may be an object of aversion and disgust to a sick person. Vile food would be an abomination. A toad is to many an object of disgust. A foul sewer is an abomination. As applied to crimes, abomination is used of such as are especially brutal, shameful, or revolting. Theft is an offense. Infanticide is an abomination. Antonyms: affection, appreciation, approval, benefit, blessing, delight, desire, enjoyment, esteem, gratification, joy, satisfaction, treat. Abridgment. Synonyms: abbreviation, abstract, analysis, compend, compendium, digest, epitome, outline, summary, synopsis. An abridgment gives the most important portions of a work substantially as they stand. An outline or synopsis is a kind of sketch closely following the plan. An abstract or digest is an independent statement of what the book contains. An analysis draws out the chief thoughts or arguments, whether expressed or implied. A summary is the most condensed statement of results or conclusions. An epitome, compend or compendium, is a condensed view of a subject, whether derived from a previous publication or not. We may have an abridgment of a dictionary, but not an analysis, abstract, digest, or summary. We may have an epitome of religion, a compendium of English literature, but not an abridgment. Compare abbreviation. End of section 1. Read by DSayers in Modesto, California for LibriVox.